Hi, I'm Pastor Christine Marshall from Bethel United Methodist Church in Anderson, and we have a ministry called the Butterfly Project. The purpose of this ministry is to uplift our community by placing brightly painted wooden butterflies in the yards of those who are in despair. On May 5th, we received a request for a butterfly for 3 young children who had lost their mother tragically. As we went to deliver the butterfly, our hearts were heavy. And standing in their yard, we were pounding in the post and putting in the screws. The kids saw us from the house, and they came out and they began to dance and play around the butterfly. It was at this moment we realized that we have the power to bring light, hope, and joy into even the darkest of stories. Light, hope, and joy is what our community needs right now because so many people are in despair. Just go talk to your neighbors and listen to their stories, and you will hear stories of recent cancer diagnosis, of a loss of a baby and a child, stories of a loss of a spouse because of COVID. You will hear stories of addiction, suicide, depression, anxiety, domestic violence, stories of hospice and those who only have 3 days to live, and tragic stories of murder and fatal car wrecks. It was these stories that put Bethel United Methodist Church into action. We knew we needed to do something. And so one night I was up late, couldn't sleep, praying about all of this. And then I had this vision of these beautiful painted butterflies in people's yards that were struggling. And I couldn't get off my mind. And so I went to my congregation and said, hey, this is what I've seen in my head. What do you think? And they were ready. Soon we were up to our elbows in paint and sawdust. We have created a process of painting that even non-artists can do. We have 70 volunteers that have jumped in at different times to help with painting and woodworking, receiving requests, mapping out requests, delivering, and prayer. And so one of our volunteers, our amazing volunteers, Gary, is here.
Hi, I'm Gary, and I turn plywood and sawdust. When Pastor Christine shared her calling with us and hearing about the impact that this was having on the community, I felt called that I needed to jump in, use my carpentry skills, and start cutting out butterfly blanks. Once this ministry gathered steam, it created a massive need for butterflies across the board on which our talented painters could work their magic. As one of the team of carpenters, I have literally cut out hundreds of butterflies, sanding them, drilling them, puttying them, getting them ready for the painters to do their work. I was able to get up to 13 blanks of plywood, or 13 blanks of butterflies out of a single sheet of plywood, and multiply that by literally hundreds. During this effort, the plywood cost skyrocketed. We went from $19 a sheet to $68 a sheet as lumber supplies dried up. But we felt like we really needed to continue this process. It was so important and it had such a positive impact on the people that it touched. We felt compelled to continue the process and make it work for us. Once we got that done, once we got into that process, and I can cut and sand, but I can't paint. So, for the project to continue on, our painters had to get involved, work their magic, put the colors on the plywood, and make it look great. One of our painters tonight here is Janet.
I met Pastor Christine just driving past her church and seeing the monarch life cycle of the butterfly. I called her church and said, can I come and get a pattern of this to share with my youth garden club? And she said, sure, come on and I'll give it to you. When I went to pick it up, she told me about the project and I knew I needed to get involved. So every Tuesday, I started coming and we paint the base coat, we paint the black, we paint a million little white dots, and we add a little splash of color. But Christine and a couple others do the finished project to make the masterpiece. The ladies I've met have impacted me with friendship, fellowship, laughter, and prayer. As I progressed in doing this, I asked her, could I start delivering too? And she said, sure. So when I would go deliver a butterfly, I would sit in my car and I'd pray over the butterfly and for the families that I was delivering it to. As I put them out, sometimes I'd get to even meet those families and share their stories and a few tears. They're so thankful and humble that they received a butterfly that was donated by the church through our process of doing this, through spreading Jesus and the joy and the light and the hope to come to them, that they were so thankful and humbled that someone thought of them. So I just hope our project goes on to heal and bring light, hope, and joy to our community.
So we've been doing this for about a year, and all of my clothes are witness to that. Paint on everything. We've been working so hard. As to date, we have 500 butterflies out in the community and beyond. It is quite amazing. We get requests through Bethel United Methodist Church messaging on our Facebook page and phone calls. And as well, we have had some days 100 requests at a time. We have entered 500 stories of grief, of gut-wrenching hurt, and beautiful stories. But we will continue to work and bring light, hope, and joy to our community. Thank you.